Hey YouTube, Longboys Post 1975. First of all, quick apologies for the fact that I look and sound like shit. I'm sick. Possibly down to the fact that we've been eating a massive amount of dodgy meat in this country recently, and if anything, I guess that's the reason I sound a little hoarse. Sorry. There's a question down there. Can you say you care about the future of gaming if you go next gen? Now, I just want to clear a couple of things up. That's not me taking some massive moral high ground, preachy bullshit, stance. Freedom of, expression, freedom of choice, they're wonderful, wonderful things, and I think nothing less of anyone for doing what they want to do. Some people probably have no problem with the next gen, some people probably have no problem, with the digital only. I guess the reason I do so, quite a lot of similar people in my age group, is what we grew up with, the more traditional sense of a console is something that's been there all along, and it's not that we fear change. Some things don't need to be changed. I guess of the people who are younger and are opposed to digital only are, younger retro gamers. But if you want to go, that's fine. The reason I'm asking the question is inspired by two things. One, I got a PM from Ian Maher. Sorry mate if I can't pronounce your name, I'll put a link down below. I know loads of people have talked about it, but based on the argument that, inspired the title, which I'll get to, this is why I'm doing this video. He just simply asked me, am I going to go with the next Xbox or next PlayStation? And I've touched upon this before, I'm not going next gen. I'm not really interested in it. I do fear where, where the industry is going. I fear that it's going to end up there, that's undeniable. Now, what inspired this is I was talking to my twin brother the other day, and he absolutely tears into Sony and Microsoft and EA all the time. Fuck them, fuck this, they're just going to destroy, gaming. When it gets digital only, I'm done, I'm walking away. Oh, who do they think they are, destroying something that we grew up with? It doesn't need to be changed. Properly tears off on one all the time. So I asked him, because I don't think I ever asked him before, and I just said, well, you're a massive fan of the PlayStation 3, are you going next gen? And he just turned around immediately in almost the same breath and just went, yep. And I went, really? You don't think your massive stance of hatred of the future vision of gaming by these companies is somewhat opposed to the fact that you have no problem whatsoever jumping on the PlayStation 4? And get this, his argument was, well, we may as well take advantage of one last generation of what is going to be a traditional console. And he raised an interesting point, I guess. I mean, I disagree with it, but he said whether you can play second-hand games or not, this is probably going to be the last console that is, traditional in the sense with systems we've had up to now. It's not digital only, it's solid state media, discs or whatever. And yeah, like I said, and he wants to appreciate it one last time. But it got me thinking, and I thought, well, I'm drawing a line in the sand, and that is I'm not going next gen. But that's simply because I'm done with modern gaming, simply because of where I end up, and I'm drawing my line in the sand now. You want to go, that's fine. Like I said, I don't think anything less of you. But where it annoyed me with him was I said, you don't think for 1 minute that this is going to be, all bells and whistles and smell of fucking posies, do you? I said, this is going to be a massive marketing exercise by all the big guys in trying to win you over to their vision of the future. They may give you one more console, but they've got a whole heap of things planned for this, that, they're going to iron out the kinks, for ideas that will, ultimately end up in the generation afterwards. They want to get you on board. I'm pretty sure they know that everyone is opposed to where it's going, or most people are opposed to where it's going. What's the best way to get people on board? Slowly desensitize them. Not just with this, but with everything. How many times have people been vehemently opposed to something, and then gradually over time, they've been, they've got used to it. They've got used to the idea. Not necessarily they just accepted the inevitability of it, but they've been almost won over or brought on board. And what's the best way to do that? A certain amount of time, I don't know, 5-7 years, or the life of one generation of a console. This system, or these systems, I honestly believe, I could be wrong, these are just, the vlogs of me, and what I think, which ultimately is nothing in the big scheme of things, but these systems, I honestly think, are going to be, there's so much stuff planned for them where they, they're just going to basically almost prepare. It's an interim stage is what I'm trying to say, it's an interim stage. They're just going to prepare for where they want to end up. I'm pretty sure they probably begrudge the fact that they can't go digital now, but they know that people aren't ready for it. So just the fact that my brother was so vehemently opposed to it, but he's so happy to jump on with this, and he disagreed with me, and he said, no, this is just going to be like now, possibly a little bit more downloadable content. I don't know. I think these are the prototypes. This is their playing field. This is where they work out all the kinks, all the problems. This is where they, you know, ultimately draw up their future plans. Anyway, I don't know. I could be wrong. Just my my waffles. But I'd really like to know what you think. Do you think that if you don't care about gaming if you go next gen? You know, maybe you don't go any further than that. Or do you think you should possibly draw a line in the sand now? I ain't going any further. I'm going back. I'm going further back to retro. And the other sad, fact about that will be when we do end up with this horrible fucking future, the prices of retro are going to go through the fucking roof. Anyway, I'm waffling. Really like to know what you think. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.